Good morning, YouTube. Sorry I woke you up. We're already deep into it here. Craig and I are taking the head off of this. We're going to do a head gasket replacement today on this 2006 OM647 engine. We've already done what you've seen in many of our videos, pulled the injectors, fuel rails loose. We're not going to mess with the glow plugs today. So Craig, go ahead and pull that off if you would. Pulling the cams out of here. Before we started pulling it out, made sure that our timing mark is top dead center down here. See that timing mark on the harmonic balancer? And that verified, or with that on top dead center, we verified that these marks on the cams were touching each other. There's one right there. It'd be on this one here. Here it is, I see it. Lift the other end for me. Yeah, there we go. So that would set it in there something like that with this one engaged to it. Where is that mark now? Oh, it's way up here. Let me pull them apart. Pull this down. I need them out. Need to rotate them. There we go. Yeah, I can bring this in. Boom. Just like that. See how these two dots touch. One's in a hole, one's in a tooth. That's how those were. Verify the engine's in that position before we start taking things apart. And there we go. And these come out. When pulling these out, leave in lines 1 and 5 and take out all the others. And then come back and slowly take out the bolts in 1 and 5. I'm sorry, 2 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 and 5 are left in. Come back and pull those bolts out half turn at a time so that we don't bend the cams. As it came out, we're laying it out like this. Everything's in the order. Front of the engine down here. These are marked and labeled for us. That's what that E1 there, so that's the exhaust side. At the front of the engine. I'm sorry, E is not exhaust. E is, we learned that word.
It's a German word.
It's a German word. E is
And I know
Inlet.
Inlet, yeah.
Inlet.
Okay.
And A, the A side. A is for Auspuff. I'm not German, I don't speak German, but Auspuff or Auspuff in Inlet. Intake, Inlet, exhaust, Auspuff. Somebody is going to chew me out for that and correct me 1,000 ways. Please do. Send me your video. Tell me how to pronounce it right. So now that we're in this deep, we're going to look at the instructions for installing a head gasket. Whoops, that doesn't have the picture. And we're going to follow the torque pattern, the same torque pattern that we would use to tighten it, we're going to use to break it loose. Let's see what else we have to do. We had a bracket under the turbo. We have a bracket over here. Of course, we had fuel lines and such to make sure they're all loose. And then Craig and I, the high pressure fuel pump had to come off the front. And there's a bolt behind that so that the timing chain could come down past it. And now that we have the head off, we're examining for damage. This doesn't look real great there, but not, you know, nothing really obvious yet until we get to here. And we see a crack across here. If we lift up on this a little bit. Yeah, look at that big crack there. Right over here to the water jacket. Boom, that's where the air was running from cylinder number 5 right into the water jacket. So we don't really have to worry too much about a cracked head at this point because we found our failure point. So here is the bottom side of our engine head. We've got it turned upside down. We can see tiny glow plugs poking through. I also want to show you, this is how much an injector pokes through. Right there. See that little, just the tip comes up. It doesn't really poke through at all. And we're hitting solid there. Hitting real solid with one copper washer in there. Now let's take this out and put a second copper washer on there and see what happens. All right, so this is what it looks like with 2 copper washers in there. These are both already been squashed, used washers, just wiped clean, so I don't have any dirt making it artificially recessed. But now the holes are in the side of this injector tip. So you can see how part of your spray pattern is going to hit the wall of that head, of the wall of that hole, with 2 copper seals in there. My point in showing you this is to let you know that putting 2 copper seals in there is no way to prevent black death or get a better seal. It's going to give you a poor combustion because you're getting a bad spray pattern. We haven't had enough of these apart to say we see it a lot, but something we're seeing every one so far is this little oil drain right here. I'm not really clear what that is or how it's supposed to work, but it's a $11 or $12 part for Million Mile Sprinter. Shipping is a little bit more than that, so you know, make a shopping list and get more than just one thing. That's what it should look like on top. So we're gonna pull that out and put a new one in.
Clogged up, probably. Yes. Partial success.
Partial, yeah.
Looks like it all came most of it.
Well, I'm starting to regret trying to go after this thing. And it kind of needed something, but that didn't do it. Okay, move there a little bit.
I want to get more of a vice grip on that. So slide, just break it up and take it out in pieces. I like that. Looks more like it. Grab some cloth around it maybe. Grab it all up in here. Yeah, looks like. All right, good.
Yeah, looks like it all came out.
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah, that's weird. It's like it goes down there and it just plugs. It stops.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, should I continue?
Definitely don't understand that. Maybe one of you gurus can pipe in and give this old Florida boy a clue what he's doing here, because I mean, I'm going to put a new part in and take it on faith that it's doing what it ought to do. Kind of hard when I don't know what that is.
Excellent.
So I've got, I probably should know what this sandpaper is. I don't know, 300 or 400 grit. It's quite fine. So just using that to clean things up. I hope that's not too aggressive on an aluminum head. I'm pretty sure it's not. Okay. Just trying to clean it up wherever the head gasket is going to touch. Obviously around here and around here. Going to try to clean these gray lines a little bit. That's it. This side too, we're going to get it nice and cleaned up. Shining up anything that's dirty. Make sure it's flat and ready for a new gasket. Looks like we're about there. We'll give that a good vacuum before we start reassembling. We're getting her all put back together here. Put the gear back in behind here and tighten that center bolt. Sorry, I didn't get video of it. Tighten that center bolt to 40 Newton meters. Put these back on. Got our dots lined up in there, if you can see them. And we're about ready to start bringing the cams down, snugging them up. First, we're going to snug up lines 2 and 5 to bring everything down straight and flat. And then we'll bring in the rest of them and bring them down in stages just like the book says. So we're starting with rows 2 and 5. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
And these have to go down really easy.
And we're going to take these down very evenly. We're starting with them finger tight. Now we're going to take each one down. Well, this one's not finger tight yet.
Exactly. All right.
And we're going to take them down one revolution at a time, doing each of the 8 bolts one revolution. Not these. Let these go. This is 3. We're just doing 2 and 5. I'm going to leave these out for now so that we don't get them mixed up. Following the book, 2 and 5, we're going to torque those all the way down until they are all 9 Newton meters. These 3 bolts up here are going to be 18 Newton meters.
We have a whole lot of this to go down.
Yep.
A whole lot of that.
One turn at a time, and we'll just keep walking it down. So this is not so much a full how-to video, just a familiarization, tips and tricks when doing head gasket kind of thing, and to let everybody see inside the engine a little bit. A lot of us wouldn't normally see that. We didn't talk about tightening down the engine block bolts, which of course the instructions are right there for you. We didn't talk about a couple of other things, like the torquing down the valve cover bolts to 9 Newton meters, but put the injectors in the holes before you do that, because that valve cover may need to shift a little bit to make room for your injectors to line up. This front plate on the engine doesn't have a gasket. It's installed with a little bit of gasket maker. Liquid gasket, I suppose you could call that. Keeping these vans and videos rolling requires a little bit of support from viewers like you. Membership starts at 30 cents a day, and it comes with benefits such as one-on-one support, access to come visit here at the ranch and find the used parts you're looking for that you haven't found anywhere else, links to our t-shirts, stickers, participation in planning of our upcoming events, early access to our latest videos, and links to the products we feature before the products sell out.